I gotta wait a little bit because it's gonna cut out the intro, but whatever. How's it going, everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac, and I'm here with a video on John Wick. It's a movie series that actually a friend of mine's introduced me to like a while ago. My good friend Christian introduced me to this, and I never watched it because I just forgot to genuinely. But I know like he really wanted me to watch him, so but also, what it really inspired me to go and watch it was because for my friend Reaper as well, freaking collaborator of the channel, he watched all three of them in like a day. So I he told me like, yo, the peak fiction right here. And I was just like, bet bro, I'll give it a look. And then I can finally fulfill my promise to my friend Christian, bro. So that's what I'm here, And to go into like the non-spoiler stuff, it's good. Like it's actually really good. But the only problem is it's good if you like action. If you like action and some story, like some, and I mean like in the vaguest of sense, some, because there's not a lot to go off of. You see the story in like the first 30 minutes. And I'm sorry, for, like I'm not gonna get into what happens in it, but like the story isn't expansive. You just what you see is what you get with this movie. A lot of action and a guy killing a lot of people. There's a lot of swearing. It is not for the faint of heart, bro. This movie is crazy. It's not gory, but it is violent, like super violent. Do not show this movie to your children, bro. Like it's crazy. But it's fire. If you're an adult and you like action, it's super cool. Especially with the way like how creative the way John Wick kills people, bro. It's actually crazy. Like it's vile. It's violent, but it's cool. And for somebody like me, like this is fire. This is genuinely fire. So for me, the story may not have a lot of substance because at the end of the day, it's super simple, but the action is pretty fire and the set pieces, they're all cool. So I just can't wait to see how this movie series expands on each movie one at a time, because watching this movie felt like, how are they gonna get better than this? And it's not like I doubt that they can. It's more like me as a person, if I were tasked with making John Wick, I don't know how I would improve from the first movie. Like obviously, if you get the creative juices flowing and you just start thinking of ideas on top of ideas, then you're gonna come up with enough ideas to have four movies. With the fourth one coming out this year, I think. So it's literally just insane to think about, but it's true. Somehow they kept it going. So hopefully, with what happens with sequels and a lot of media, doesn't happen in this series, because this series or this first movie was really cool, like so fire. So hopefully they don't get bored and just do it for money, or just like, yeah, to cash it in, like, oh, new John Wick movie, check this out, oh, blah blah blah. Because this movie came out in 2014, so, and this fourth movie's coming out 2023, so almost 9 years later. Like that's crazy to think about. So hopefully it has the same level of consistency that it did with the first movie. If not, hopefully it gets better and not worse. But let me get into the spoilers real quick, and then we can end this video. So, spoiler-free section over. John Wick is about a movie, or John Wick the movie is about John Wick, the man himself, who's the main character, where he has a wife named Helen, I think, not Helena, Helen, and she has terminal, like, an illness, and it kills her on one of the dates that they went on. And John has been married to her for like 5 years, dating her, all that stuff, and he really, really loves her. Like this cold man, who we find out is cold, who really loves Helen. He loves his wife. And when she gets taken away from him, the last thing that he has is the last gift that she could give him, and it's a dog. It's Daisy, and her name is Daisy. I think she's a beagle, but his wife got him this gift because she knew she was dying, so he wouldn't have to grieve alone. And really nice, really nice gift. But people, he goes to a gas station because he's filling up his car, and he goes to get some kibble for his dog, and some guys pull up on him, and it's a bunch of Russian people, and like it's three of them, and they're like, oh, yo, your car looks sick, bro. How much can I buy it for? And John is just like, it's not for sale. So the guy's like, everything's for sale in Russian. And then John himself speaks in Russian, like, Not this. This isn't for sale. Like loosely, I forgot exactly what he said. And it actually no, I do remember what he said. It's just it has a swear in it, so I'm not really saying it. But he leaves, and they look at each other like, yeah, we're gonna go get this guy. So he goes back to his house. They follow him. He goes to bed, and he gets woken up by Daisy barking at something. And he goes downstairs to check what it is, and it's the same people that were talking to him in the gas station. They mug him, they beat him up, and they kill his dog, and they leave him there, taking his car as well. And when he wakes back up from getting beaten, he starts getting ready. He gets ready to go full vengeance mode, like on some Batman. And then I I forgot this dude's name, Aurelio, I think is his name. He the guys that beat him up go to Aurelio, this guy who like he sells cars, buys cars, all that stuff. He goes to them and they're like, "Yo, we got this car, bro. How much for it?" And Aurelio's like, "Who did you get this car from?" Because he recognizes the car. And he's like, "What does it matter, bro?" No, he's like, "Who did you get this car from?" And then he's like, "Oh, blah blah blah." Like they describe him, and he's like, get out, leave. I am not a part of this." And he punches the kid. And we find out that the kid is actually the son of a Russian mob boss who basically runs the city that they're in. And John actually goes to Aurelio, and he's like, "Yeah, did you see my car?" Because he knew like they would come here if they took his car. And Aurelio's like, "Yeah, this guy, he's the this Russian mob boss's son. I think Vigio, Vigio, or Vigio actually, something like that. I forgot his name. And his son Yosef. That those two, you know, and Vigio actually worked with John, so he has ties with him. And the reason why John is out of the business is because of him. So you know that they do have that connection. But now John Wick is chasing after Joseph or Yosef, excuse me. And this movie, that is the rest of the movie. It's literally him hunting him down, and we see him gearing up. They have this whole montage of just explaining how John Wick is the boogeyman and how he should not be trifled with. All this sort of stuff, bro. It's crazy. And once he gears up and he gets ready to leave, he gets ambushed at his house. It's super fire. This was when I saw this scene of him getting ambushed at his house, I knew like, yeah, this movie's sick. This movie is gonna have me gripped, bro. Like I'm watching the entire thing. And after that entire house scene where he got jumped, he called on some people to dispose of the bodies. And they're like, "Yo, John, like, you're back into business?" And he's like, "Temporarily." And so he leaves and he goes to the Continental, which is a hotel in this universe, or I think actually in real life, but I don't know. And he goes there. He meets with the desk, the clerk, who is Lance Reddick, by the way, which is really cool. If you don't know, Lance Reddick is the guy who, what's it called, voices Zavala in Destiny too. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, John is just there. He's getting ready, and he knows that Joseph is going to be at this party, this huge rave, excuse me. And one person who's important is Marcus. This dude is actually friends with John Wick, and so remember him because he was at the funeral when John Wick's wife died, who which was recent by the way. Him losing his wife and him losing his dog were like a couple days apart. They were not that far apart. So he goes to this rave where Yosef is at, and it's this huge scene. He goes from a rave to the building across the street because he was just getting information, and they knew that he was there. So he's killing a bunch of people. He goes to the rave. He kills two of Yosef's friends, who actually robs John Wick during the house thing, and those two are dead. So now it's just Yosef. But he gets away because John, he's like super injured, genuinely super injured. So he has to retreat for now. He goes back to the Continental, and in between this, everybody recognizes him. Like everybody in the underground business recognizes, like, yo, John Wick is back in the business, bro. This is so fire, and everybody's just like doing favors for him and stuff like that. And he goes back to the apartment, and actually, one of the people who was talking to him jumps him in the Continental, and that's a bad thing because the Continental doesn't allow assassin business or dirty business to happen inside of it. They are a clean business, quote unquote clean business. And if that happens, then you're done. You're cooked. So Miss Perkins is the one that jumps him, and we see her earlier in the movie. Luckily, what's it called? John is goaded, so he beats her up and has her taken care of by I forgot this dude's name, Harry, in the room next door. Not taken care of as in like dead, but just catch and release, where they capture her and they release her later on. But anyways, John goes to find again Yosef, so he goes to a church because Perkins gives the details away to find what's his face Yosef just to get more information. And this church, Russian church, he pulls up and he shoots it up. Like he generally shoots it up. He doesn't kill innocents, but he kills the people who pull out guns on him. So, how innocent really are they? But also, how innocent is he? But regardless, he kills them. He goes to the church. He burns all the valuables inside the church because Yosef's dad really treasures that because its worth in terms of dollars isn't important. It's its worth in potential dollars is what's important because that's blackmail, secret recordings, paintings, all this stuff. It was super important. And John Wick gets captured because he gets run over by a car because he gets pulled up on. And Vincent, or not Vincent, it was the wrong person. Yosef's dad pulls up on him and he's just like, bro, I'm torturing you. He tortures John Wick, and is all this stuff is crazy. John gets left there by what's his face's dad, and the person who actually saves him because he's perched over in a building across from them is Marcus himself, which is goaded because he's Willem Dafoe, by the way, and that's super sick. But he saves him with a sniper bullet, and now John is out for revenge to get Yosef's dad. He catches up to him after getting freed by what's the dude named Marcus, and he goes up to Yosef's dad and he's like, "Dog, where is your son? I'm going to kill him." And you know, he has a shotgun aimed at him, so he's like, "Oh yeah, sure. My son is what's the blah, 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 at this place," and he pulls up on that place. Needless to say, John Wick kills him. He kills his son. It was crazy scene. They were playing like some bootleg shooting game. I could not tell what it was. Like Modern Warfare or COD 4 looks way better than that. It came out like 2008, bro. So I don't know what game they were playing. It looks like a mobile game. But regardless, one thing I forgot to mention is that Marcus was actually a contracted killer by Yosef's dad to stop John Wick. But he's John Wick first, contract second. So that's why he didn't kill John. And once Yosef's dad finds out about this after his son's murder, he goes and kills Marcus. He has him captured and killed. And Miss Perkins is one of the people that kills him. But justice is quickly served once Miss Perkins gets a call from the Continental and she gets taken out back and shot. Literally executed. It's crazy, bro. Actually crazy. So Marcus is dead. Miss Perkins is dead. Yosef is dead. His friends are dead. A lot of people are dead. Now it's just John and Yosef's dad. So John, after seeing that they killed Marcus, he goes to where he was killed, and he's tired, bro. He's so sad. Like my man has lost so many people in the past couple of days. Not to say that he didn't kill a bunch of them, but also you feel bad for him because he didn't deserve us. But at the same time, how much sympathy can you feel for a killer? At the end of the day, I will sympathize with John Wick, not for what he's doing, but for why he's doing it, right? And it's like he's killing a bunch of people who have families and all that, but at the same time, it's also like you can see why he's doing it. I don't agree with it, but I can see why. So it's like regardless, he pulls up on Yosef's dad. Crazy final scene of like this harbor, or not harbor, but like a reservoir, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a crazy scene. And Yosef's dad actually, he's like, after all of his bodyguards are killed by John, it's raining like crazy and they're fighting. And Joseph is like, or well, Joseph's dad is like, no more guns, John, no more bullets. And John's like, no more bullets. And they just start fist fighting. It's super cool. And you think like, oh, Joseph's dad's out of his league, and he is, but he puts up a fight. I ain't gonna lie, he puts up a fight. But then he fights dirty by pulling out a knife. and that's where I lost all respect for him. So he stabs John, and he does get a few good licks in, but John ultimately is the victor, and he kills Yosef. Excuse me, Yosef's dad. He leaves him there, but John is bleeding out. He's dying. So the coldest line in this movie was definitely, "I'll be seeing you, John." And then John just says, "I'll be seeing you." And then they just leave while Joseph's dad just dies. Like, bro, what is that? Why? And my favorite scene was definitely when he was walking in the rain towards the camera. Like that was so fire. But then he goes to like a shelter near the where they were. It was a puppy shelter, and he picks one of the puppies along with a lot of medicine to stitch himself up, and he leaves. He takes a new puppy. He has a pit bull now, and it's just like, bro, that's crazy. My man started with a dog and ended with a new dog. Like, it's crazy. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the movie. John Wick, like I said in the beginning, doesn't have a lot of story. Like, it's not that deep of a story, but it really is a cool, just action movie you can just have fun with. It's so sick. Genuinely, overall, I don't mind the mindless violence because at the end of the day, that that's just what it is. I'm not looking for an in-depth character analysis on why John Wick is the way he is. Or at the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if it is there, but I'm not surprised it is not. So it doesn't matter to me, you know. But anyways, movie was fire. John Wick was fire. The action was sick. The the movie just looked beautiful. Like in terms of how they use the scenery for the kills, it was super cool. It was generally super cool, and I can't wait to see 2, 3, and when it comes out 4, it's gonna be awesome. So, yeah, it's an 8 out of 10. I'd say 8 out of 10. I was gonna give it a 7, but this movie's pretty good. So, actually, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. I feel like the other movies are gonna be better, and if not, then whatever. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.